Inevitably, a 2D top-down RPG with whimsical pixel art will be compared to Undertale, and I want to get that comparison in and out of here as fast as we can because there's so much more happening than what at first might appear to be a simple impression of Toby Fox. In OneShot World Machine Edition, you play as Nico, the possibly non-binary cat-like person who wakes in a darkened room with no recollection of how they got there and is tasked with saving the world. It isn't long before you're perusing a dying land, solving puzzles, and talking to NPCs. There's an added layer here where you interact with an in-game operating system called the World Machine. This was built specifically for the console versions, and it works great. Here, using the right stick, you can move a cursor to change your wallpaper, listen to music from the game, and survey character profiles that you earn by befriending various NPCs. But most of all, it's used to solve puzzles and unlock truths of the game world. You probably know that this has a reputation for playing in a metafictional space. Nico will speak directly to you, which I found enamored me to them quickly. It was a fast and strong bond, unlike many that games usually provide me. It definitely helps that the writing here is very charming. For what amounts to a lot of back and forth at the beginning, it rarely feels lackluster or boring because it's so fun to be with Nico and to encounter this dynamic cast of characters. The inclusion of fast travel also goes a long way in helping that pacing. There's no combat here either. Typically, you're talking to NPCs, looking for clues, and gathering items you can combine and use to interact with various quests. There's a little more under the surface, but if you're lucky enough to not know, I'm gonna help you out and zip it. Sometimes Nico will ask you to take a rest, which gets you to play around with your ever-populating desktop. These segments can be skipped by just reopening the game, but the encouragement to peruse is quite effective in getting you to think about what you've learned. In fact, this game really enjoys giving you soft, quiet moments, even though everything is so bleak. It's a game about storytelling and the importance fictional truths can have in someone's life. Nico is not just a perfect avatar to tell the story through, but one of my new favorite player characters in gaming ever. Nico is rad. Nico loves pancakes. Nico wants to save everybody. Nico loves the heck out of their mom, and Nico really, truly believes in you. Reminded me of a funny instance where at one point Nico said they were glad I was there to decipher puzzles. Oh, honey. You should be thanking Google. Honestly though, I only needed help for 1 or 2 puzzles in the main game, and I think I could have figured them out if I had access to the notes I'd found on my journey, rather than having to rely on my memory. I'm unsure. To be honest, I'm not usually too great at puzzles, but I seldom felt stumped. Generally, the game doesn't direct you much outside of cryptic hints. This is usually fine, but there were a few instances where I would simply forget things and get lost in ways that felt unnecessary. Then the art style sometimes made it so I couldn't recognize an opening and would miss important locations. That wasn't usually a problem though, and the game does have an appealing quality to it for an RPG Maker product. The still shots from this that act as cutscenes are especially lovely. I'm also kind of begging for games of this nature to have indicators when you've exhausted an NPC's dialogue. Overall though, this is just so pleasant to go through. Running docked or portable, this runs smoothly on Switch, with no stuttering or glitches in my experience. It's an earnest story, and even though I didn't fall in love with any of the other characters the way I did Nico, it stayed funny, engaging, and while not the height of the genre, remains remarkable. I don't want to get too far into spoiler territory, so I'm going to wind this down now, but there's more here than initially meets the eye. I'm also hesitant to give you my playtime because even that could be a bit spoilery. If you have any interest in inventive indie adventures, this is more than worth your time, and it won't take more than 10 hours. Don't watch a playthrough or look too much into OneShot World Machine Edition. You'd be robbing yourself of something special.